Hello guys, this is Mr. Urrego. Today we're graphing linear equations using the x and y intercepts. This is for the class of the September 9th. Our basic toolbox, which is vocabulary, slope, standard form, slope intercept form, y-intercept, x-intercept. Through the lesson, I hope I address all of them. Okay, so right now we're gonna graph this equation, negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 15, using the x and the y-intercept. Now, the process is the following. We're looking for the x and the y-intercept, okay? So that's why I had two spaces, the x and the, so I'm gonna find my x-intercept here, okay? Intercept. Now, to find my x-intercept, I make the other variable 0. If you notice, I only have two variables on this equation. I have the x and the y. So if I'm looking for the x-intercept, I make the other variable 0, which in this case is the y. Okay, I'm gonna rewrite the same equation, and I'm gonna replace the y for 0. So here we go. So I'm gonna have negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 15. So I'm going to write the same equation, and when I get to the y, I'm going to come over here to the y, and I'm going to write it 0. That's the whole trick about this thing. So negative 3x plus 5 times y. Instead of the y, I'm going to put a 0. End of story. That's the whole thing about this. Equal negative 15. Okay. We know that anything times 0, 5 times 0 is equal to 0. So that cancels out. So I have left is negative 3x equals negative 15. Okay. From there, I need to find the value of x. Okay. In this case, I need to divide by negative 3 on both sides. So negative 3 on this side, on the left side, cancel with that negative 3. I have my x. And remember, is my x-intercept equals to negative 15 divided by negative 3 is positive 5. So I have my x-intercept, first point, okay? I'm gonna do the same process, and I'm gonna find my y-intercept. Again, I'm looking for my y-intercept. So if I'm looking for my y-intercept, that's a p by the way, I make the other variable 0. Remember, I have x and y. So if I'm looking for the y-intercept, I need to make the x 0. So let's do that. I need to make the x 0 on my equation. So let's write it down. I'm going to write the same equation, negative 3x plus 5y equals negative 15. When I get to the x, I'm going to write it, instead of the x, I'm going to write 0. So here we go. Negative 3x, instead of the x, 0. Plus 5y equals negative 15. Anything times 0 is going to give me 0. Okay, so what I have left is 5y equals negative 15. To leave the y by itself, divided by 5, divided by 5. And from here, 5's cancel, and I have my y-intercept. Remember, that's what I'm looking for. Negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. So I have my y-intercept here, and I have my x-intercept on the other side. So here we go. Let's see if it's going crazy, this computer, and hopefully get it back. Okay, it was going too far. I don't know when it's going. Okay, here we go. I got it back. So I was saying we have the x-intercept, and now we have the y-intercept. Okay, because physically each one of this is a point. So all right, I set up the graph, and I have my x-intercept and my y-intercept. Now the x-intercept physically, the x-intercept, I'm sorry, is where your line touches the x-axis. That's what the intercept means. Is where your line touches the x-axis. In this case, it's going to be a 5. So from the origin, right in the middle, I'm going to count 5 on the x, which is positive, so I go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At that moment, I'm going to make that my point, and that's your x-intercept. That's your x-intercept. Now let's do the y-intercept. The y-intercept is negative 3. So I'll go to the origin. Again, right in the middle. Right in the middle. And because it's negative, I'm going to go down. 1, 2, 3. At that point, I'm going to do my point. And that's your y-intercept. Okay? Now, once you have the 2 points, it's just a matter of connecting them with the line. So let's connect those two. And kind of. We extend the line, and that's our line. Okay? Using the x and y intercept. I'm going to show you a second example. So I'm going to grab this example. Okay, so we have negative 4x minus 2y plus 10 equals 0. Again, I'm looking for the x and the y. So let's write the x-intercept here on the left side. Because I'm looking for the x-intercept, I'm going to make my y equals 0. So I rewrite the same equation. And whenever I see negative 4x minus 2y, instead of the y, I'm going to put a 0. Okay? Plus 10 equals 0. And this should be a 10. Okay? So we know that anything times 0 is going to give you 0. Okay? So I'll bring down the negative 4. I'll bring down the negative 4x. Okay? Plus 10 equals 0. Minus 10 on both sides. Minus 10 on both sides. Cancel out. Negative 4x equals negative 10. And the last step is to get rid of that negative 4. So we get rid of negative 4. And here we go again. Okay. So we need to get rid of the negative 4. Where am I? There we go. That's where I am. Okay. So divided by negative 4. Divided by negative 4. And the 4's cancel. And this is your x-intercept is equal to negative 10 over 4. Negative 10 over 4 is 2.5. All right, first one that we got a decimal. Okay, now let's go here and let's find the y-intercept. So y-intercept. Y-intercept. Oh my God, here we go. Y-intercept, because I'm looking for my y-intercept, then the x has to be 0. Remember, it's the other variable. Okay, so negative 4x minus 2y plus 10 equals 0. Negative 4, instead of the x, I'm going to put a 0 minus 2y plus 10 equals 0. Anything times 0, in this case negative 4 times 0, gives you a 0, so it cancels out. So I bring down negative 2y plus 10 equals 0. In this case, I have to get rid of the 10. So minus 10 on the left, on the right, cancels out. Bring down the negative 2y equals negative 10. Your last step, divide by negative 2, divided by negative 2. And from here, we get that my y-intercept, remember, y-intercept is negative 10 divided by negative 2, which is 5. So I have my two intercepts.